Hello, this is Wellness Buds, and I am your host, Stella Wingfield.
And I'm Laura.
This episode is inspired by the following quote. If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. Oprah Winfrey. In honor of World Gratitude Day, which at the time of this recording was a couple days ago on September 21st, we will be talking all about gratitude. I think recognizing that you have so much to be grateful for really changes everything. As that quote from our girl Oprah says, if you're looking at what you don't have, you'll always be unsatisfied because you're having this attitude of I don't have enough. But when you appreciate all that you do have, well, the whole narrative changes.
Definitely. I mean, I think we kind of just went over this with the things we love about ourselves. And even though it's hard, if you can just figure out how to appreciate them, it does make you realize that you are enough.
Yeah, totally. It is very similar, having that positive mindset and going out of your way to look for what you do like versus fixating on what you don't like, or in this case, looking for what you do have and being grateful for that versus criticizing yourself or your life based on what you don't have. Sometimes people gravitate toward looking outward and seeing what others have and thinking that they should have that thing by now, or I would be happier if I just lost this weight, or if I was living in this bigger house, or whatever the case may be. I think it's natural to think these things sometimes, but happiness comes from appreciating where you are now. Try looking at your life from an outside perspective, or if a less fortunate person was looking at your life. When you look at it like that, it can become super apparent that you have tons to be grateful for. I'm grateful for this roof over my head. I'm grateful for heat or air conditioning, depending on the season. I'm grateful to have access to vaccines and modern medicine. I'm grateful that I have access to clean water and I don't have to walk a mile to a water source, then a mile home to boil it and then drink it. I'm never more grateful for my access to clean and safe water than after backpacking and having to fetch and filter water. But just these basic things that so many of us don't take time to think about regularly, they really are something to appreciate and be mindful of. So many people in the world don't have access to the convenience that many of us have, and there really is so much to have thanks for. And even though this episode is inspired by World Gratitude Day, I challenge you to be more grateful every day. How often do you really think about the mundane things that make your life easier? If you're rolling your eyes at this, maybe you especially need to hear it, but really think about it. How often do you stop to appreciate the little things in life?
Never enough, but I think that's like the chaos of such a busy life too. Like all of us are so caught up in phones and all the other parts of life, we forget about the little things all the time.
Yeah, I think in such a high-paced society, it feels weird to slow down and appreciate what you do have. But I think that's exactly what a lot of people need. And, I think a lot of times people think that being grateful is associated with religion or being super fucking cheesy, and it really doesn't have to be like that at all. You can just benefit so much from incorporating more gratitude in your life in a genuine way. And instead of always looking for the next best thing or the next upgrade, just appreciating what you have really is everything. Practicing gratitude helps us enjoy this moment instead of living in the past or anticipating the future. Gratitude can help ground us.
We can always express gratitude toward the past and future as well. It doesn't have to be right now.
Yeah. Of course. Looking back to the past can really help you appreciate what you have now. Kind of gives you perspective on how far you've come. But of course, you can always appreciate that, if your past was really pleasant too, it's like, yeah, I had a really great childhood or a really great education or whatever the case may be for you. Having time for that perspective always helps give people clarity. But practicing gratitude also allows us to enjoy what we have now instead of longing for more things or even longing for the past, because I think a lot of times people they think about the past in such a positive light sometimes when it's like in the moment, though, they didn't necessarily do that. So it's like you're longing for the good old days, as people say, or Andy from The Office being like, I wish they told you when you were in the good old days.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing too. You hear it all the time, especially Like my mom and aunt always talk about it. They see photos of themselves when they were 25 and hating on their bodies and like not vibing. And then they see photos of it and they're like, why was I so mean? Like I looked great at that time. I would pay money to look like that now.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I've
like,
heard that so much.
Yeah, they don't appreciate how it was because it's like you nitpicked it and it turns out that was a great time. If you just stop nitpicking.
I think about that all the time, not even that long ago. And I was so critical of my body. And then looking back, like, wow, I did look so great. So now, yeah, like we kind of talked about last time. Yeah, it's like, okay, I just need to appreciate where I am now because it is beautiful. And probably in 20 years, I will look back and think, yeah, damn, girl, you had it. But yeah, I think going back more to like the material side of things, I can look back at my childhood and know that we lived pretty frugally, and that didn't take away from my overall general enjoyable childhood. I didn't need material things to be happy then or now. And when I look back at my childhood, it isn't really the things that I think about or cherish, but rather the memories and quality time that I had with my family. And in the spirit of being grateful, I will just say that I'm super grateful for my family. They've always been incredibly supportive. So shout out to all of you wonderful humans. I feel super lucky for my family. But anyway, even though certain things add to the quality of our lives, constantly seeking more things that you quote unquote need is just an illusion of happiness that will surround you when you have that item. Growing up, I definitely did not understand that concept at all. I always wanted something more. I was always looking at peers and thinking, man, I wish I had that. I know my parents get me those kinds of things all the time or whatever, but I am glad to fully understand this concept now.
It is crazy. I think there are so many different parts of that. Like, when you're really young, the birthday parties, and you go to that one birthday party that you're like, how does your mom do all of this? And then, like, my birthday parties were sleepovers. And I really liked my birthday parties because I really liked sleepovers. But I do remember being like, we did not get to have a limo pick us up from school and go to the hair salon. Literally, that was someone's birthday party in my childhood.
Wow.
Dude, it was bougie. And then even when you get older, like people start getting brand new cars at 16. And I'm dropping my mom off at work in her car and then taking it to school and then picking her back up because we got one.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of driving this. We always called it the Silver Bullet. We had this Astro van. that was what I was driving. And yeah, seeing all the people with these brand new cars. But then also these rich little assholes, which, you know, I don't have any problem with rich people or anything. But when people are just given things, they don't really appreciate it. I remember going to school with this guy, and he had a brand new yellow, just some sort of really nice sports car, and he totaled it within a month or something. And then he shows up in another brand new whip, equally as nice. And he would always get speeding tickets, like driving 100 miles per hour. And I just remember thinking, man, if I had that, I would just not treat it like that. And thinking, you know, how nice it would be to not have to drive my little fucking astronaut bullet around. But, you know, I should have been just happy that I had a car at all or had a car that I could use at all, because a lot of people don't have that luxury either. So, yeah, I know.
Should have been just grateful we weren't taking the bus.
Oh, I definitely took the bus as well for a very long time.
I did not even have that option.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that was the thing. Josh told me that he never rode the bus ever. And he said that he walked to school a lot in his childhood before getting rides to school when he went further away from where he lived. But it's like, why didn't you take the bus? And he said, I didn't have that option, Stella. I was like, oh, yeah. I wish I wouldn't have had that option because it was so embarrassing. But I didn't live close enough to walk at certain points in my upbringing.
Yeah, but because I couldn't take the bus and my mom's a school teacher, especially in elementary and middle school, she'd have to drop me off at the school at 7 a.m.
Ooh.
And I just have to sit there and wait because she would have to be at work.
Oh my gosh.
So it like made my whole day so much longer.
You seemed like that eager kid ready to learn, but really it was just a matter of circumstance.
Yeah. Just like no one lives near us. Now I'm here.
So funny. But anyhow, so going back to everything else, I just wanted to say that I know that I do give the product of the week, and I'm not trying to promote that anyone needs to get these items. I just suggest things that add to my well-being, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it will add to yours. I'm not recommending items because I think you need them to be happy. I'm just simply sharing items that add to my well-being, like I said, and it isn't anything too crazy, but just little things that I find help me throughout my days to enjoy my time to the fullest. But no one item will give you the key to being happy, despite what advertisers want you to think. Gratitude, however, has been proven through research to have the long-term benefit of overall greater happiness. And when you think about it, it makes sense. If you're content and happy with what you have, it logically makes sense that you would have more feelings of inner peace and positive emotions. Gratitude also helps people appreciate good experiences, improves health, builds strong relationships, and helps us manage adversity. I'll link to the article that I read that goes over this, but it is a Harvard article, and specifically the studies section is very interesting to read. So if you're interested in that, it'll either be in the show notes or on our website. I am not actually sure how many characters will fit in the show notes to know if it'll work down there or not, but I promise it will be on the website at the very least. So if gratitude doesn't come naturally to you, I'll share a couple of ideas that might assist in your pursuit of appreciating. What I personally do every night before going to bed, I just start listing all the things that I'm grateful for and why while I'm laying in bed trying to sleep. It kind of just helps me go to sleep. I usually try to list a minimum of 10 things, and that's just... Sometimes I fall asleep in the middle of my list, and that's okay. Sometimes I don't make it to the 10, and that is fine. It's just a very peaceful way for me to go to bed, and it is helpful. And I'm not going to sit here and try to recommend every episode that y'all need to make a list of 10 things. It's just what I end up gravitating toward.
But that's like awesome. It's a way to make yourself realize there is good parts of the day, even on annoying days.
Oh yeah. Even on annoying days, I really focus on the good then, because if I get into that mindset of looking at all the things that went wrong, just like I will drive myself crazy. And every time I'm on my walk with my dog Winnie, I list things that I'm grateful for: the clean air that I'm breathing in, my able body to physically even be able to walk, eyesight that allows me to see my beautiful city, a happy-go-lucky dog who is adorable and loving as fuck and just hilarious sometimes. I also enjoy making time for mindful meditation where I focus on my breath work and being present. Even if it's only for a couple of minutes, I need to make this more of a priority. But in this exercise, I'm not necessarily actively thinking of all the things I'm grateful for other than my ability to breathe. But you could totally do mindful meditation to focus on breathing and appreciating what's happening around and within you. Since doing these activities, I've found what the research indicates: a stronger sense of satisfaction, happier emotions, and looking more lovingly at the people in my life. Certain aspects of things, are not always the best. I think when you're around the same people every day, your partner, little things start to get at you. So I'll just pick on Josh, my husband, for instance. He can drive me crazy. But when I'm listing all the things that I'm grateful for and reminding myself daily of all the terrific things within him and what he brings to the table, a lot of those smaller things just don't really seem that important. At certain times in my relationships, in my relationship, I would focus...
How many you got going, girl?
Just one, I swear. I would focus on those negative, less important aspects about my partner, though, and it drove me crazy. It drove our relationship crazy. There might have been a time where I really thought things were not going to work out, but it's because I was allowing these little grievances to get the best of me instead of recognizing all the overwhelmingly wonderful aspects and all the reasons that I fell in love with him in the first place. I think this concept of gratitude is also so good to bring to the forefront of your mind because people take other people in their life for granted all the time. Life is not guaranteed. Loss happens every day. So I just wanted to say that because many people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. So if this can help anyone in their relationship, I just wanted to throw this out there. Focus on the good. Appreciating what you have goes a really long way. And also, though, if you are struggling to find those good things, maybe it is time to reassess. A handful of tiny good things doesn't outweigh larger issues if that's what's going on. I don't know your life, so only you can make those calls. Anyway, do you have any tips, Laura? Anything you do to nurture gratitude in your life?
I think I just try and not get caught up in the moment on negative things, especially working in the service industry. It can be very easy to get sucked in to negative energy, whether that be from a fellow coworker or from a nasty customer. They both can feed very negative things. And I just try and be like, you know what? Here's what I can do. This is what I got, and I'm moving on because I cannot absorb this energy.
Right.
And for me, I think I keep the gratitude as long as I don't feed into the negative.
Yeah, which, like you said, is really hard to do when some people can just be so naturally negative or just let that get the best of them. And customers especially, I don't understand. When you're going out to have fun, why do you come with this negative attitude? I just don't get it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we're like a family event. Like, calm down.
Yeah, you're here to have fun. Keep your Karen to a minimum.
Please.
Some other ways, though, to incorporate gratitude into your everyday would be, like you said, taking note of when positive things do happen, what you can control. That's really all you can do. You can only control you. You cannot control everyone else. So if they want to be negative, that's on them. But also, you could keep a gratitude journal if you like to write things down, or if you'd rather type out your thoughts, that is another way. I've heard of people appreciating what's going on in their life. And even though I make a list of 10 things every night before bed, doesn't mean that's what you have to do. You could designate whatever number you want. It could just be 3 things per week even. Doesn't have to be every day. Going over certain things that happen in your week, whatever works for you. Verbalizing to those around you when you feel thankful for them. If you're not good at sharing your feelings out loud, you could send them a text, write them a letter. I don't really think I know anyone who doesn't like to be appreciated. So, it goes a long way. People love that shit, especially if they're doing something and going out of their way for you. Why not take 2 seconds to thank them for that? It's not that hard. And you'll feel good doing it because you'll see the appreciation in them.
Exactly. We feed each other's energy.
Yeah.
It's the same way that when you dodge the negative, when you have someone really positive, that feeds your energy and you have a better day. So give that to someone else.
Yeah. And it's so easy to just say, thank you for considering my feelings even. Thank you for cleaning up around the house. Thank you for doing the grocery shopping this week. Or to your employees, thank you so much for showing up today. Whatever the case may be, a simple thank you does mean a lot. That's it. Product of the week. Product of the week. Product of the week. Product of the week.
Pow!
This week's POW is my foot massager. I got this little wonderful machine as a gift from my first company that I did a contract with nearly 8 years ago. This thing is durable. And I did give thanks to them, by the way. It was actually probably the best company I've ever worked for in the fact that they appreciated me and showed it by sending little gifts, messages, offered lots of bonuses, which who doesn't like that? But yeah, I love this little massager. It's super easy after a long day. I just plug it in and let this thing do its work on my feet, and I can just sit back and enjoy. I found the closest one that I could find to it on Amazon. I feel like I have a way older version, so the one that I'm linking to is probably nicer.
All the features.
Yeah. Mine also has the heat feature, though, which the one that I'm linking to as well has that, which if your feet are naturally tending to be cold like mine, it's very nice. In winter, love it. I pretty much always use it on the heat setting because I just like that. And I guess not everyone likes their feet being touched, so you can control how intense it is, which is nice. And yeah, the one that I'm linking to says that it's tickle-free, so if you're ticklish, you should be good.
I didn't even think about that, and it cracks me up that in the description it says tickle-free.
Yeah, it has the image of the massager and then those little benefits on the side, and one of the little boxes says tickle-free or
That's amazing.
Whatever. Yeah, so I never realized how ticklish some people can be with their feet, or some people don't even like getting pedicures because their feet are too ticklish.
Yeah.
So,
I have a friend that we have gone to pedicures together and she can barely sit in the chair. It's insane.
So funny.
She said thank you to them when they stopped giving her a pedicure.
That's so sad. Anyway, so yeah, we'll link to this POW, and if you like to get your feet rubbed, it's a nice way to do that after a long day. I wanted to say that I am so appreciative for everyone who is listening. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you who is taking the time to listen and support our podcast.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
If you like what you're hearing, please take a second to rate a review, subscribe wherever you're listening, share with anyone that you think might enjoy listening as well, or donate via our donation button, or for additional content, join our fan club on Patreon. We want to keep providing you all the quality content that we can, so your support really means everything to us. So thanks again. And if you have any topics you'd like for us to cover in the future, if you want to drop us a line, feel free to email us at wellnessbudspodcast@gmail.com. We also have a phone number set up, so feel free to use that as well, 971-292-5565. And it's so easy that I actually have it memorized already, so that's cool. Yeah, if you want to share some things that you're grateful for, if you have any questions, the number accepts phone calls and texts and is even compatible with a lot of international carriers too. So if you're outside the US or Canada, hopefully you'll be able to get through. But if you do have trouble, please let me know. We can always communicate via email if that is the case, but I want to make this line as accessible to as many people as possible. So let your girl know. Regardless, we'd love to hear from you and look forward to continuing this journey with you. We'll have part 2 of Attitude of Gratitude next week, focusing more on our natural tendency to compare ourselves to others. So stay tuned for that next Monday. Have a wonderful week, and remember to stay grateful. Bye.
Bye.